Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This is the video you have been waiting for. Most of you have found me through my eczema video that has done pretty well here on YouTube. If you haven't, I'm going to link it in the down bar. Basically, I was saying in that video how eating a plant-based diet has really cured my eczema. It's been almost 2 years now and it has never came back once. After I ate like that for, I would say, a few months, I was still feeling my body was not feeling its best. I knew there was something more going on inside of me. I was still low energy. My stomach would sometimes be bloated. I was finding it hard to concentrate at work. So that is when I stumbled across this amazing book, which I guarantee will blow your minds. And it is called The Amazing Liver and Gallbladder Flush. And it is by a man named Andreas Moritz. So a little backstory about this author. This man, unfortunately, he has now passed away. The book was written a while ago, but he was basically a medical intuitive. So this man, I think since he was a teenager, he was diagnosed with juvenile rheumatoid arthritis. He had a congenital heart defect and a few other things going on with him. So he was told he would probably never live past his teens. He ended up living to, I think, almost 60. He didn't pass away from anything that I will be talking about here. If you want to read more about him or his life, I will link his website down below. I also highly encourage you to go check this man out on YouTube. He has made many videos in the past. You will never see a man with more glowing, beautiful skin than him. His eyes are so crystal clear. He just radiates this beautiful glow that you're just drawn to him. You have to go check him out. So this whole book is about liver health, how toxic most people's livers are, and how important it is for us to cleanse them regularly. So our liver, besides our skin, is our next biggest organ. I kind of like to think of it as the water filter for our body. So anything you put on your skin, you ingest, you come into contact with, you breathe in, it's all going to get filtered through your liver. You will probably never go your whole life without changing the water filter in your Brita, for example, or the water filter in your kettle. It's going to get clogged up with stuff. So the main function of your liver is basically to filter blood from your digestive tract and send it out towards the rest of your body. So when it's passing through that liver, if it's all clogged up with all that nasty stuff, it's going to send out proteins, fats, and carbs that are highly toxic throughout your whole body. Our liver also secretes bile, which is a liquid that helps us digest fats. It converts proteins in order to make our blood clot, and it also helps us metabolize drugs, toxins, any chemicals, which nowadays we come into contact with so much, just sometimes even with the water in our shower, the foods we eat, the lotions that might smell nice but are filled with chemicals that we put on our skin, all sorts of stuff. So if you're a relatively healthy individual, our livers are pretty good at repairing themselves. So drinking things like dandelion tea, lemon water in the morning, getting those herbal liver cleanse pills from the health food store, all of those are great, but nothing is really going to cleanse your body and heal it the way it needs to be healed without doing one of these flushes. Yes, this does take a little bit time and money. You have to be patient and you have to be willing to commit 100%. But honestly, guys, the results are amazing. If you want to see some of the stuff that will come out of your body, just pause this video right now and Google The Amazing Liver and Gallbladder Flush and look at the Google images. Your mind is going to be blown. If a doctor has ever told you or anyone that you know that you might have to get your gallbladder removed, you need to read this book. Share this video with them. Share the link to the book. You need to read it. I feel so bad. My mom had to have her gallbladder removed a couple months before I found this book. She's actually a nurse. Once I shared this information with her, she was showing her friends some of the pictures that I sent her, and her friends are also a group of nurses. They were shocked. They had never heard of this. Most doctors, most nurses, everyone in healthcare were not really taught that there's a way to remove these stones other than surgery. And a lot of doctors are not taught that gallstones actually form in the liver as well as the gallbladder. Your gallbladder is a very, very important organ, guys. It houses the bile, when it's not being used for digestion. And like I said, we already don't secrete enough bile to break everything down. It's really, really important that we keep this organ as long as that is possible. So I probably finished this book in one day. Once I started reading it, it's not a very long read, but it is so fascinating. Just to get your attention, I'm going to read you the first line of the book. So many people believe that gallstones can only be found in the gallbladder. This is a commonly made yet false assumption. Most gallstones are actually formed in the liver, and comparatively few occur in the gallbladder. So essentially, after you read the book, you are going to understand that most of our livers are going to be clogged with so much garbage. So this is basically going to keep your body running down here when it should be running about here. Okay? Cleansing your liver can be beneficial for almost everyone. In the book, it suggests if you are pregnant, maybe to wait till after, although he had lots of patients that were pregnant do successful liver cleanses. It can actually even help aid you in becoming pregnant if you're having fertility issues. I'll just read you a list quickly of some of the things it could help you with. Diseases of the mouth, stomach, pancreas, liver, gallbladder, intestinal diseases, coronary heart disease, high cholesterol, skin conditions, poor circulation, enlargement of glands, disorders of the respiratory system, urinary system, nervous system, disorders of bones, joints, and skin. So basically, everything under the moon. I highly, highly recommend this book. It is amazing. It has changed my life. So how do we get these gallstones out of us? So it's very, very important. I'm going to stress you need to read the book before you attempt to do one of these cleanses. There are many steps leading up to the actual cleanse. Do not Google it. You might actually put yourself in danger. It is very, very important you follow the protocol. Essentially, though, before you're going to do this type of cleanse, he suggests that you go for a colonic, which I had never been for before. Anytime I had Googled it, always negative articles would come up, and I didn't know if it was good for your health. After doing these for about 2 years now regularly, I am the biggest advocate for it. I will leave that for another video. If you guys are interested in hearing my experience about that, I would love to make a video, even though it's a little bit gross. I mean, I work in healthcare. Nothing really grosses me out. I don't think we should be embarrassed to talk about our bodily functions or things going on within our body. We get nowhere by not sharing this info with other people. So basically, if you're not familiar, a colonic is when warm water is flushed through your colon and your digestive tract to basically flush out any fecal matter that might be trapped in there. You will be shocked if you go for one, even if you think you're a healthy individual and you don't have a problem going to the washroom regularly, you will be shocked at what comes out of your body. So basically think all that stuff is inside you, almost like spackle, and bacteria is feeding off of it. Parasites are feeding off of it. You might have an overgrowth of yeast and candida, all this sort of bad stuff. So essentially, you have to go for a couple of those to make sure nothing is stuck in you before you do these liver cleanses. I would highly suggest you go for a professional colonic. I use the Angel of Water therapy system, but you can also go where a colonic therapist is in the room with you. I just didn't feel comfortable doing that. I would rather be in a room by myself, but I have tried the at-home, basically the enemas that you give yourself, and drinking the magnesium citrate, which sometimes they'll give patients before they go for a colonoscopy at the hospital. But those guys were not nearly as effective as a colonic. Again, your mind will be blown. I have actually seen parasites come out of my body. I had bloating for years that I thought would never go away. Skin issues. If you guys want to know more about this, actually check out Organic Olivia's website. I'll link her website below. She talks a lot about how parasites were affecting her skin, but that is a whole other video. I don't want to dive into that right now. So basically, after you've went for a couple of colonics just to get everything cleaned out of your system, the week leading up to the cleanse for 6 days prior, you're going to drink 1 liter of organic apple juice every day throughout the day. So what that does, the apple juice has malic acid in it, which helps to soften these stones that are in your liver. It almost turns them into like little jelly stones, so to say. So when they come out of you, this will not be painful at all. So the day of the actual cleanse, it's suggested to do it on a weekend because you're going to need a whole day to be at home close to your washroom. So the day of the cleanse, there's certain foods you have to eat in the morning. You're not going to eat anything after lunchtime. You're going to do the cleanse later at night. So you have to drink over the next day. I think there's 4 servings of ingestible Epsom salts. Those are different than bath salts that you would take a bath with. These are ingestible Epsom salts. Sometimes they're called bitter salts. They're sometimes a little hard to find at health food stores. You might have to order them online. I did find them at one store in Toronto. I can link the brand that I use below as well. So essentially, when you're drinking these mixtures, I will say it is the most bitter, disgusting thing I have ever drank in my life. So, but basically what that is doing, it's dilating all the little pores in your liver. So because you've drank the malic acid to soften these little stones, and now the pores are dilating, these little stones are going to be able to float out very easily when you go to the washroom. So right before you go to bed on the night of the cleanse, it might sound gross, but it actually tastes pretty good, like a refreshing salad dressing. You're drinking a mixture of pure olive oil and fresh squeezed grapefruit juice. So you shake it up, and like I said, kind of tastes like a salad dressing, and you drink it pretty quickly, and then you lay down. So essentially what that does is when you're ingesting such a large amount of fat, remember I said the liver releases bile to help us break down fat. So when you ingest this large amount of olive oil, your liver produces a gush of bile. So what that does, it helps to push out all those stones that were clogging your liver. And because you've softened the stones, they float out very easily. It is crazy. When you're laying in bed, you're not allowed to move for about 20 minutes. It almost feels like little tiny marbles are floating out or little air bubbles. It doesn't hurt at all. It's crazy to feel that. So then in the morning when you start going to the washroom, because you haven't really ate any food for a while and you went for a colonic, basically no food is really left inside of you. So when you go to the washroom to have a bowel movement, the only thing that is coming out is water and these toxic stones from your liver. You will know it's toxic because, I'm sorry if this is TMI, it smells so toxic. I can't really even describe it any other way. It is like toxic chemicals are leaving your body. Throughout that day, you have to drink a couple more of the Epsom salt mixtures, and then you can slowly start to introduce fresh juices and a little bit more food in your diet that day. But you're going to go to the washroom multiple times that day. You will be shocked what comes out of you. It actually will be burning your skin a little bit like a chemical burn because it is such a toxic substance. So when the first few times you do a cleanse, you might see tiny lighter green stones, and then once you get more into like the deeper depths of your liver, these like harder, darker calcified stones will come out. It is so disgusting yet satisfying to see all this stuff leave your body. And when you smell this stuff coming out of your body, like, I'm sorry if that grosses you out, you just think like, I can't believe I was walking around with this stuff in there. Like, what is this doing to the rest of my body, right? So I'm going to insert some video and some pictures. I'm sorry if you guys think this is gross, but I found this so interesting. So I'll insert those now. Oh my god. It's fucking huge. Looks like a meteor. They also say that you're supposed to estimate how many stones you excrete for each cleanse, because you have to keep doing these at certain intervals to make sure they all get out of your body. So the first time I did this, I think maybe 150 to 160 stones came out. Each time it was progressively less, and then I finally got down to 1 or 2 stones. You have to keep doing this over time though to get them all out. It could actually be dangerous if you stop after maybe 1 or 2, because then you're pushing that highly toxic stuff to the front of your liver. So it's important. This is a long commitment you have to stay devoted to, but I would definitely encourage it. So here I've taken pictures of the first 3 liver cleanses I did, and like I said in the beginning of the video, I think I did 5 to 6 in total. So you can see in September when I first started doing it, really small, tiny, light green stones were coming out. At that time, probably 150 to 160 came out. The second cleanse, you can tell they're more brown in color, they were more dense, they look like they have been sitting deeper in my liver. And then in November, it was a very dark green color, the smell is more toxic, and it felt very, very hard. So ideally our liver is supposed to produce 1 to 1.5 quarts of bile every day to help us break down fats. Most of us only secrete maybe half of that because our liver are so clogged up with toxins and these basically the liver stones or gallbladder stones, if you will, that are trapped in the liver. So what happens? Well, that combined with we probably eat too fast, we're not breaking down our food like we should, we're eating too late at night. So if you eat after 6 p.m., our bile secretions go down by quite a lot. So if you know anyone that has gallbladder problems, most likely they've had a gallbladder attack later in the evening if they're trying to eat something like fast food, high in grease and oil. Our body just can't break that down. Also, if you tend to overeat at meals, there's not enough room left in your stomach for those digestive juices to get in there to break everything down. So you're probably thinking, well, I don't have that in my body. I guarantee we all have this in our body. Even if it's safe for little kids to do these cleanses. I'm not going to waste time listing all the things that this can help fix. I saw the biggest improvement in the clarity of my eyes and my skin after I've been doing these for 2 years. Probably at the beginning of this year, I have now done about 6. You have to still do them maybe once a year after you do a series of them to get all the stones out. But honestly, I've never felt better. I cured so many things with this combined with the colonics, which again, let me know in the comments below if you want me to go into like a little more in-depth review about that. But I would highly, highly check out this book, you guys. It has really helped, I believe, keep my eczema away and my skin more glowy. My skin is the best it's ever been. It still might not be great to most people, but for me, like my whole life, I've never had great skin. And I just feel so, so happy. I love, love, love this book. So this book, combined with the China study and Lynn Janet's book, The Plan, are my 3 top books that have changed my health.